Huh, that is great. Guess what else we're live? We're also live on Facebook. Welcome back, Pedro, to Facebook. That is great.
We've been away from Facebook for quite a while because they deny streaming to multiple services. So
we're doing something sneaky.
Up yours. We figured it out.
Yeah, well, we had to pay, but hey, that's fine. This is the cost you have to do. I actually don't know what. So Restream.io is a service that takes in a bunch of stream services, and it lets you stream to one place, their server, and then it spreads it out to all the other servers. So we're on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope. And there's just so many things to look at. I have 100 dashboards to keep my eye on. We are streaming on YouTube. It says it's live and healthy. About this one, I haven't hit the button yet, Pedro. So ready, set, go.
I was about to say, it's not working on Facebook.
It will in a second. Because Facebook is still, you still have to kind of create an event in order to generate the stream key. However, the other services such as YouTube and not Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Periscope, they just kind of have a central stream key that they always use. So Facebook is the only one where I have to do a little bit of extra work. I have to kind of create the event and then copy the stream key that's automatically generated when you create the event and then pop it into Restream.io. So welcome, Facebook. Hello, Facebook. We're back. We figured out how to stream back to you guys. So welcome to the pre-show. We're going to start the show in 5 minutes. This is my first time using Restream.io, which is a service that we're using to stream and broadcast to multiple services. So we're live right now on Periscope, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Hello, everybody. Hello, Internet. I have to check like 5 dashboards to make sure the connection is all solid. So far it is. What are you using to stream to everything? Cranky Coder. Restream, nice. Yeah, it's, I didn't know about it. PT was very excited to jump on it and figure it out. So far it seems to be working all right. So welcome everybody in the chat. There's like 8 chats. We have a Discord chat over there. Oh man, that's throwing me off way crazy.
I'm going to have such a fun time through all these.
I really want that Stream Deck so we can just tweet out those buttons.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh gosh. What link do we use? Like just all the links? Bear with us, folks. We're going to start in 4 minutes now. How's my Wirecast CPU? It's actually pretty good. It says 0 frames have dropped, 52%, 40% CPU.
Hello, everybody in the YouTube chat.
Hello, YouTubes. Hello, Facebook. Hello, Twitch. Actually, how do we check Twitch? We just go to Twitch and there's a dashboard. I kind of opt out of streaming to Twitch. I apologize, but
we're not on Twitch then, right?
We are.
Oh.
We're on Twitch. We're on Twitch. We're on Periscope. How does Phil do this, man? This is way too much. Oh gosh. 49 people are watching us on Periscope. Hello, Periscope.
Hello, hello, hello.
My gosh.
I like how I'm getting Nintendo Switch ads on Twitch.
Oh, of course, yeah. Ads right away. You can't not, yeah.
Sorry, people on Twitch, if you want to chat, go ahead and check out Discord.
Yeah, I have a Discord link. Actually, in every single shot in Wirecast. Oh, I can't do this. I can't do the monitor thing. I have to switch screens. Okay, so the Discord chat link is right above Pedro's head, and that actually is the Discord chat right here in metaphysical form. Right there. Yeah, so that is discord.gg/Adafruit. It's right up there. It's always there. So if I go to any one of these shots, Hey, what's up, everybody? Sorry about that. Our audio should be back now.
What was it?
I actually don't know. I just clicked the audio button and hit go, like push the audio layer in Wirecast, and it seems to be okay now.
Cool.
It wasn't that long though, right?
No.
Wow, I just can't imagine how many channels people are watching from. Like, there's people in all channels.
We're like a
Periscope, Twitch, Facebook. Did you bring up the Twitch thing, or is that too much to?
That's too much. As soon as I see that, ad, I'm like, I'm out of here.
I'm out of here. Oh, sorry, Twitch. Yeah. We are streaming too. We are going the extra effort to do it.
Appears to be some spam going on over on YouTube chat. Anybody spamming in there, I will immediately ban you. So do
or
not. Or
Kirby, we got some moderators here.
Hi. I am banning you. Block. Get the heck out
of
here. Do not try it. I will immediately ban you.
This is another reason why we like Discord so much. We have a very, very close, tight relationship with all of our Discord users. So thank you guys out there.
Yeah, no second chance. So don't even try it. I will immediately ban you.
Yeah, sorry. All right.
No emoji spamming, no promoting YouTube channel, no like
sub for subs.
Lol, yeah, I will
sub for
immediately
subs, man.
ban you. Don't even try it.
All right. Well, we're gonna start the show now. Is that cool? You can make Twitch not suck with an ad blocker. Yeah. I still need to do that Pi hole.
Yeah.
I want to do that project. Give me more time. All right, guys, well, let's start the show. We're going to do a little song and dance in the beginning, and hopefully it's not squished. It's not Thursday, so let's just skip it. We're just going to go from this thing to the actual thing. Okay, ready?
Let's get this going.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another 3D Hangout. I'm Noe, designer here in Adafruit. Joining me every week is my brother Pedro.
On I read and Pedro.
Here electronics and sometimes CNC milling to make inspirational projects. Hopefully to inspire you to make some projects. So let's start off with the show. This week's coupon. And the audio keeps crapping out on me. Going on with it. What? I can't get the audio to work without this layer. Sorry about that, folks. We are Jesus. We're working here with our new setup, and it's kind of giving me some problems. So bear with us, folks. I apologize.
Yep. Every time you switch between scenes.
I get it. I understand. Okay, so I'm not sure how we're going to continue with this. So give me a second to kind of test out these shots and make sure that our audio is still piping through correctly. Oh, wow, it's not. Oh, boy. Yes, there's a problem with the auto switch, auto live feature. I think I got it. That looks okay. Let's try this one. That looks okay as well. And we'll try this one. That looks okay as well. And we'll try this one. All right, I think it's working okay, Pedro. Let's continue on with the show. Hopefully this works. Yeah, it's working. Hey, guess what? We got a coupon code today. If you're interested in getting anything from the Adafruit shop, you can get 10% off your order if you use coupon code LUCITE at checkout. What is LUCITE? We'll talk about it in just a second. Hey, if you are interested in getting some extra credit from Adafruit, we have a little campaign called Adafruit Extra Credit. So if you go to adafruit.com/extra credit, you can find all the details about that. We're specifically looking for people that are making projects with the Circuit Playground board. It's the little board that Adabot's holding in his hand. So if you are working on a project and you are looking to get some extra credit, you might win some stuff. Check out Adafruit Extra Credit.
We have a nice little roundup of a lot of people posting really cool projects. If you check out the Discord chat room, we have a specific channel for that under Adafruit Extra Credit. There's already been a bunch of posts in there if you want to check that out.
Awesome.
Really cool remix of the Lantern project from Sonia on there. Somebody actually coded up a lot of really good, interesting...
This is Bill. The Bill Tin Whiskers.
Yes. For the, like I was saying, the Lantern project, he coded up a nice assortment of libraries or code for all the sensors that are on the circuit.
Yeah, so check it out. I also have this blog post open. I'm going to work on making a dedicated blog post, so thank you, Bill, for sharing this with us. Very cool upgrade to the project. So check that out. We'll take a closer look at it near the end of the show as well, but just wanted to throw that out there. That's another avenue to share your projects. There's also show and tell as well here.
You can, of course, come on the show and tell every week to show off your projects.
Yeah.
Tweet at us.
That's on tonight.
On Facebook.
Hey, it's working. Yay.
All the social channels where we have accounts.
Okay, what else do we have? We also got some free deals going on. If you order anything over $200 or more, you get free UPS shipping, ground shipping. That's of course to U.S. continental folks. So check out adafruit.com/free for those details.
If you're doing any international shipping, you can also check out. We are now shipping with DHL.
That's right.
Take care of all the customs and duties and all that.
Yeah.
Check that out. We also got same-day delivery. Got to put that in for 11:30, I believe, to get it in same day. Certain zip codes in the NYC area. So definitely take advantage of that if you need to get that project out the door same day.
Hey, newsletter time. We have several newsletters. If you want a daily newsletter from Adafruit, you can go to adafruitdaily.com and opt into that. You have to opt in and subscribe to it if you want that. There's all sorts of different categories like biohacking, circuit playground, 3D printing, and more. We have a special dedicated one for new products. This one's called the New Newsletter. So you can go to adafruit.com/newsletter to opt in for that one. It just gives people a heads up when new products are launched and stuff like that. Hey, real quick, Discord. We are a partner with Discord. So if you go to discord.gg/Adafruit, you get an invite to join us in the chat over here. This is exclusive chat. This is like our Patreon chat over here. These guys are awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining us there. Of course, you can, if you're on a mobile phone, you can just stick with the chat that's on whatever streaming channel you're on. But hey, we got Discord. We're there. We're always there. It never goes away. You can't stop it. It's going to live there forever as long as we're here. All right, well, let's jump into this week's project. Now that we got all that out the way, this week we have a fun, different project that combines 3D printing, CNC milling, acrylic, NeoPixels, and CircuitPython. Holy bajolies, let's take a look. There it is. So if you go to learn.adafruit.com, you can see the full tutorial for the project. If you haven't already, check out the project video. I'm finally back to talking. Look at that, I did a voiceover. Isn't that awesome? Yeah, even with my like kind of nasally sickness that I still have. Hey, I was able to put that together. But hey, so this is the project was kind of from Phil, who had an idea. Hey, why don't you make a acrylic, edge-lit acrylic sign? And this was a couple months ago, so you know, we put it on the list, and it takes a little bit of time to get into the list and get kind of clear out your cycles. So I finally got on this one, and this was a good example, kind of test to get my to get practice and experience using an other mill. This is a desktop CNC that we carry in the shop, and that I've had for I think a couple of years now, maybe 2 or 3 years, maybe not that long. But I've had the other mill, and I use it intermittently. Every like 6 months, I'll do a CNC project. So I prefer 3D printing. But hey, this is one of those projects that you kind of can't do with a 3D printer. Milling acrylic, laser cutting acrylic. There's so many different ways to get kind of an engraving onto acrylic, but when you put a light through it, you get this really nice edge-lit effect. So it looks really neat. But there is some special type of acrylic called LUCITE, and that's the coupon code today. This is a light guiding acrylic. Let's take a look at where I got it from. I actually got it from the fine folks at Inventables. They are the makers of the X-Carve CNC machine and the Carvey CNC machine. They sell a whole bunch of awesome materials. This one, the LUCITE, is specifically designed for edge-lit applications. So the cool thing about this is that you give it a little bit of light and it'll evenly diffuse your engraving, which is really cool.
Which is the point that we need to point out. The regular acrylic,
Yeah.
If you try to do this, it will just have a nice little hot spot in one area.
It won't evenly diffuse it. You can do it, but this stuff is specifically designed for evenly distributing all the light. So it's a little bit energy efficient in that terms, so that you don't have to completely crank up your brightness. So it's pretty cool. It comes in different sizes. I got myself the 8 by 12 inch because I do have a fairly small spoiler bed on my other milled Pro. It's got like a 5 by 5 limit, max build size. So if you have a CNC machine that has a bigger build volume, you can mill a bigger sign. I opted in for making a rather small palm-sized sign. So yeah, so check it out if you want to get some of this acrylic. You can get it from the Inventables website, and the thickness here is about 1/4 of an inch, which is like 6 millimeters or so, give or take. And yeah, there's all sorts of data sheets and stuff that you can check it out. And if you want any more information on it or some project ideas, you can check out the Inventables site. So I picked some up, and I was able to get like 4 or 5 different pieces, maybe even 6 pieces out of it. I forget how many, but hey, I had to cut it up on my bandsaw to get it to fit on my other Mill Pro. Another thing is that you don't have to CNC mill it. You can of course use a laser cutter if you don't have access to any of those tools, and you have a Dremel tool with an engraving bit. You can also do that. You can mill it out. I can imagine you printing out the vector artwork and then kind of plopping the stock on top of it and kind of tracing it out. I actually tried that, and it's a little bit difficult. Let me say it's kind of difficult, at least for my hands, because I'm not that much of an artistic person. So anyway, that is a little bit of background of the acrylic stuff. There was a question of how long does it last? Indefinitely. I don't know if there's a lifetime on it.
Yeah, I don't think there's a shelf life on it.
It's just a piece of plastic with some special particles in there. So there you go. So that's the LUCITE stuff real quick in a nutshell. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what powers the project. In this project I'm using the Adafruit M0 Express, but you could also use the Adafruit M0 Basic. They both are using the same SAM D21 chipset, so they're both CircuitPython compatible. We'll talk about how to get CircuitPython on your board, because it doesn't ship with CircuitPython, but it does ship with a special bootloader that is CircuitPython ready, almost ready. Yeah, we're in that weird transition where we're trying to get all of our boards to CircuitPython. So yeah. So let's talk about the parts. Again, you can choose from either the M0 Basic or the M0 Express. I definitely recommend the M0 Express. I threw in the M0 Basic just in case anybody has one laying around. You can still make this project with that board. You don't have to get the M0 Express, but hey, those are an option. Of course, also the thing that makes this work is the NeoPixel stick. This is the RGB version. We also have RGBW, but currently we don't support RGBW in the NeoPixel CircuitPython library, so you want to pick up this NeoPixel stick. So if you have a NeoPixel stick laying around and an M0 Basic, this might be a fun project to put together. All right. It's batteries. And onto the batteries. You don't really need a battery. If you plan to have this on your desk, you can have it plugged into your computer's USB hub indefinitely and just have it powered through the USB port. Or you can plug in a battery to make it a little bit more portable, which I have done here. So I have it portable. It's been on for a little bit now. You have a couple different options. I wouldn't recommend going anything bigger than a 500 milliamp, mainly because there's not enough room in the current case for a bigger battery. I tried fitting a 1200 milliamp battery in there, and it just didn't fit. So I recommend using the 500 milliamp battery. This has been on for quite a bit now, and yeah. You got your options of battery if you want a battery. If not, that's fine too. It's still, you can still kind of get that working. What's another thing here? Tools and stuff and materials. Again, I have a link to the LUCITE acrylic over there, so you can pick that up if you want that. I recommend getting these very specific screws. These are M25 sized machine screws. They're the Phillips flathead type, and they have the pitch of 0.45, and they're rather short. They're 5 millimeters in length, so they're very, very short. The reason why they're short is because, well, the case itself isn't really that thick. So these are a perfect size to go through the PCB and into the little standoffs that are built into the bottom case here. Other random ancillary bits is like these rubber feet. We sell these rubber feet. I've been using so many of these rubber feet in all my projects as They're very useful to keep a nice grip onto the table. So if you don't have any of these bumper feet, pick yourself up some. You don't have to get it from the Adafruit shop. You maybe get like a pack of 20 of them for like half the price on Amazon. It's up to you, however you wanna source your stuff. Of course, I got everything else that's kind of used in the project, wires and solder wire and heat shrink tubing, and then mounting tap. I use mounting tap in quite a bit of my projects just for a good way to adhere something or mount something to another surface without having to permanently glue it with adhesives. I really like this stuff. So this is an Amazon link. You can check it out there. Maybe we'll stock it one day. Let's talk about the tools. The tools that we're using here. Of course, the Other Mill Pro. Currently, we're out of stock of the Other Mill Pro. We're kind of waiting on some things here. Ultimaker 3 is the printer I use, but hey, this could be printed on any 3D printer. It's very, very small. It's 84 by 84 millimeters. I think that's the smallest you can get on a 3D printer these days. Maybe even like the Monoprice Select has probably the max build volume on one of those.
Definitely fit on that, yeah.
It'll definitely fit, hopefully. Wire strippers, wire cutters, soldering iron, pan of ice. We got it all there in the Adafruit shop, and these are just some tools. You don't need these tools. Maybe, well, you need a soldering iron, but you don't need a pan of ice and third helping hands. I just really like using them because it just makes the process so much easier and keeps everything sturdy, right? On to circuit diagram. This is a very simple circuit diagram. All we're really connecting here is a switch and the NeoPixel to the Adafruit Feather. So just a word from kind of all of our circuit diagrams. They're just kind of a visual representation of where the wire connections go, not necessarily true to scale. The wires lengths are always kind of different depending on the projects, but this is kind of the best I can do there. Hey, let's talk about powering NeoPixels. Hey, guess what? I'm using the 3 volts pin. Now, you might think that's a sin, but it actually, the NeoPixels these days, we're using SK chips, and they're pretty happy with 3 volt logic and 3 volt power. Now, it's recommended that you use 5 volts to power the NeoPixels, but they work just fine with 3 volts, especially since there's only 8 of them, so there's not much of an issue. We even hear Lamar saying that that's just fine. The chips will actually, like the first chip, will automatically raise its voltage, and then it'll kind of tell the chain of pixels to kind of adjust accordingly. So it works just fine.
We just had an entire Hacker Chat segment on this.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Somebody asked the question on was it last week's Hacker Chat about CircuitPython, because they were talking about the Trinket M0 and how you can power NeoPixels off the 3 volts. Yeah, it's fine. This is wiring. The benefit of this, of course, is that you can turn off and on the 3 volt regulator via the enable switch and the ground. So when you tie those two together, that's basically what the switch is doing. It allows you to turn off the 3 volt regulator, mainly turning off the NeoPixel and the board, but it still allows you to recharge the battery while the circuit is turned off. So that's mainly why I'm using the 3 volts. But if you want to be more kind of correct, you can use the bat pin. So it's up to you if you want that or not, but it'll be okay. I don't think you'll fry a pixel, and if you do, you can blame me. We'll replace one for you. All right, well, let's talk about the software setup. You do have to do a little bit of extra software. Hopefully in the future you won't have to do this. It's not that painful, honestly. The thing you have to do is you double click on the Feather board.
Drag and drop file right on there.
Give me a second, hold on. You got to do a little bit extra. I'm going to go through all the things that you have to do. So once you double tap on that reset button, the Feather will know that it is in kind of flashy bootloader mode. It'll change itself into a USB mass storage device called Feather Boot. When it's Feather Boot, you have to download and drop in a UF2 file. That's basically the firmware for CircuitPython. So you got to make sure you download the correct one. It's called Adafruit CircuitPython-M0-Express. Now, depending on which M0 you have, make sure you get the right one. So once you have that UF2 file, you drop that into the Feather Boot device, and it will reflash itself, automatically reboot, and it'll rename itself to CircuitPy. So that is what the USB drive will look like, CircuitPy. Next thing you have to do is get the Adafruit CircuitPython NeoPixel library. It's on GitHub, so go ahead and download that bundle, unzip it, and then take out the neopixel.py file and then drop it into your CircuitPython USB drive. One more step, you have to make a lib folder and then drop the neopixel.py file into that lib folder. It kind of looks like this here. This is what it'll look like. You got an extra file like boot out.txt, And then you can start making your main.py files. This is where your code lives. This is where the main sketch is. That's where it lives, right outside of the lib folder in the CircuitPython directory. So I got a little bit of note about just kind of things to be aware of: plain text, rich text, that sort of thing, line spaces and visual characters. Hopefully it doesn't shy you away from doing this. It is easy once it's set up. So let's talk about some of the code here. I got 2 examples for you guys just to get your NeoPixels up and running. The first one is very, very simple. It's using the color fill function. So that's a built-in function of the NeoPixel library. That just is a quick way to get all your NeoPixels to light up one color, a single color. No animation here, it just fills it in. So if you just want, like this one here is actually it's just using that fill. It's just a purple color. So if you want an orange color or something else, all you have to do is change the values that are in the brackets here where it says strip.fill. That is where the RGB values are stored, and that's the arguments, so that's where you change them for making a different color. So it's that simple. And this cool thing is, of course, that when you plug this into any computer, that code is going to show up. So you don't have to recompile it because it's running kind of on there. Yeah, interpretively. How about some animations? However, we do have a rainbow animation sketch, so that works well. You can copy this. This is using the NeoPixel library, of course, and a time library so that it can do a little bit of fancy time stuff. So here we have a color wheel function. This basically kind of lights up the NeoPixels in a nice rainbow. So all the pixels are evenly distributed to a color. So it fades from RGB and then back to R, and then it shows all the colors in between that. So what's really cool is that you can kind of get this working really quickly. You can just plug it in and kind of swap out different codes, which is I have here. As you can see, I have my main.py file, and I also have a main.rainbow. All I got to do is just kind of rename these and just kind of switch them out, and I don't have to re-upload anything. I just plug it in and update the name files, and it automatically reboots itself and runs the code, which is kind of nice. I'd like to do kind of a live demo, if that's okay. Hopefully that works. I'll have to unplug this guy, plug in this guy. So what I'm doing is, let's see, am I on Wirecast? Oh yeah, duh, I just unplugged it. so I'm going to plug it in now. Yeah, see, it's plugged in. It's plugged into my computer. And what I'll do is go to the overhead. Actually, let me go to my screen first. So here we go. Go into my folder. Here is my CircuitPy thing. I'm going to name this something else. I'm just going to call it fill. And then I'm going to name this, just get rid of the rainbow because I want the rainbow code. So I'm going to delete that.
Look
just
how fast
hit enter.
this is too. As soon as you
and
save
there you go.
this.
So now we'll give the board a second here to reboot itself. And if it doesn't, you can just hit the switch page, turn it on, turn it back on, please. Yeah. And turn it back on. Yeah. Normally it works, but I guess I kind of freaked it out there. So now, remember how it was just purple? Hey, now it's going, it's doing the rainbow cycles. That's fairly easy to do, and of course the benefit of this is that I can actually see the code, plug it into any computer that doesn't have an IDE or a special board profiles and libraries. It's all built in, it's all stored on the chip itself. There's some revolutionary stuff here going on.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
This vastly simplifies the projects in terms of getting these out and prototyping code, seeing what works, doesn't work, and especially with visualizing how your animations are working. This is killer.
Killer. This will kill. No, this is really cool. I got a question here from Northern Pike. He's asking if there's a charger on board for the LiPo. That's one of the benefits of using the Adafruit Feather. They all have LiPo chargers built in, so it is actually recharging the battery right now.
You can kind of almost see
there's a little yellow
little, port opening here. You can see that it is yellow, meaning that it is charging.
It's charging my battery. That's great. And if I turn it off, it's still recharging the battery. Oh, excellent. So yeah, once it's done recharging, that yellow LED will just turn off. So pretty neat there.
So it'll turn red when it's when the battery needs to be charged.
Yeah.
Go to yellow while it's charging, and then green when it's done.
I think so. I think it does do green. I might be wrong about that, but hey, yeah. At least it charges your battery. So yeah, it definitely charges your battery, so you don't have to take it out and put it in a separate charger.
Super, super handy.
Yeah.
One of the top reasons why we did not use the all-new Trinket M0 was specifically because of the charging, the extra ground and power ports that are on the prototyping area on the Feather.
Yeah, the Feather is just fully featured. I mean, it's double the price, but hey, you get double the fun. You get, like Pedro said, all the additional ground ports. You get the USB charger, and it has a built-in JST plug, so I don't have to kind of solder one in, so it's less wiring. So that's why we're using a Feather. So yeah.
Quick comment from Yanni saying that we should have a charging LED on the side. I guess you can make the port a little bit bigger so you could see the charging LED.
That'd be a good idea, yeah.
You can kind of see it there.
I'm notorious for not doing something like that.
Oh, yeah. Just a little bit bigger for the port opening there. You'll be able to see it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so very awesome. All right. Going back to the guide, let's continue on with the build, talk a little bit about how the build process is. This guy over here. So that's the code stuff. Nice little demo. It worked okay. I did have to reset it, but hey, it's good now. Onto the acrylic. So I plan to do kind of a tutorial on how I set this up. There's so many different ways to do it. I don't expect everyone to have an other mill, so I kind of opted out of showing you how the process is in other plan. That's the other mill specific CNC software. You might be using a laser cutter. You might be using there's different types of software for running your machine. Maybe you're using easel with your Xcarve or your Pinocchio. Or Shape Oko, whatever it's called. So I figured I'd just throw you guys out the vector artwork. So if you want to remake this project as it is, I have the vector artwork as an SVG file. It's just a vector graphics file. So you can put that, scale it up, make it big as you want, or as small as you want. So that's whatever process you're doing, you're definitely going to need some vector artwork. So that's why I shared it for you. So yeah, if you want that, it's over there. Talk real quick about the 3D printing part. This is a two-piece enclosure. They all snap fit together. We'll take a look here, I guess, at Fusion just to look at it real quick. See if I can get that out here real quick. There we go. So I gave you guys the file you can download the STLs if you just want to download and print it as is. If you want to make some adjustments to it, you can download the Fusion 360 archive and put it in your package. It's not just Fusion. It's like you can download it as a step file or an IGS file, so you can import it into SolidWorks, Rhino, any of those packages, Onshape, any of those packages, you can open up these files, so it's awesome. So let's take a real quick look at the assembly, the full assembly here. So this is kind of like an X-ray view of it. And what's cool about it is I got some components in here. So apart from the case, I have the slide switch, the generic feather board, the NeoPixel 8 NeoPixel stick, and even a USB connector. I figured I'd design and model the USB connector just kind of for clearance purposes, so that's what it's there for. I also have my acrylic piece here, which is kind of like a little bit outdated, but it still works. So if anybody's interested in remixing design, you can do so. One thing I want to note is it's a little bit different here. If we look at the bottom here, you'll notice that the lip here kind of has these cutouts in all four corners. I had a bit of a problem where these right here, if I step back, you can probably see what it looked like before. See this corner here? For whatever reason, even though I have a nice gap, so if we take a look at a section analysis and we look at the two pieces, you see that I have a little bit of gap, right? So you see where these nubs meet and intersect with each other? Where's the base here? You'll see here that there's a bit of a clearance there. There's definitely a clearance. There's about a 0.03 millimeter clearance, and that typically works fine, but for whatever reason, these corners were like bowing. They would bow and they wouldn't work so well. So what I did was I just cut them out, and that helps tremendously to make this nice, flat, and even. So if you're finding yourself with that problem and you're not sure why, just cut those corners out. I don't know why. Maybe it was just the slicer or something, but hey, it worked for me, and it kind of saves on material too. So I think that's okay. So that worked out really well. I also did some interesting different ways to kind of speed up the process. Normally I would kind kind of make these nubs and indentations, not one by one, but kind of like mirror them. In this case, I actually just used a circular pattern to make it to kind of duplicate it on all 4 edges. And I also suppressed this area over here because I didn't need it there, because that's where the switch and the USB port needs to be. So just a little bit of CAD stuff there. That's mainly the kind of interesting things about it. Real quick, we'll take a look at kind of the simulation part of it. This is kind of a separate part. So what I have here is just a simulation to show you how the cam tools were set up. Again, I really want to do a standalone tutorial. It's going to take about half an hour to explain and show you the process of setting up these cam tools. But basically, we're just looking at a simulation of the vector paths, the engraving process, and the contour. It's pretty simple, but one thing to note is that I actually milled it from the opposite end. So that means that although I designed it this way, I had to mill it invertedly flipped this way, because I found out that when you're engraving acrylic and you're edge lighting it, it actually looks much better on the opposite side, the side that is clean and non-engraved. So that might sound a little bit weird, but let's go ahead and jump into the overhead and show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. So let me fix my focusing before I jump into this. So I'm going to change the focus over there. Can you move real quick, Pedro?
Yes.
Thank you, thank you. So let's take a look here at this guy over here. So this is actually where the milling is, right? This is where, is it? Yeah, this is where the mill was done. So you can see that it looks kind of grungy. There's still a little bit of particles in there from the milling process. And if I zoom all the way out with the focus here, you can see it doesn't look that, well, it looks okay, but watch what happens when I flip it. It looks way more punchy, right? Like that just stands out way better. So again, this surface here is clean. There's no engraving on this. The engraving is done on this side. So if you're ever doing an engraving on your mill or your laser cutter, keep that in mind. If you're doing some typography, it actually looks better on the side that doesn't have the engraving. I guess that's just kind of what probably everybody who does signs like no duh, but I didn't know that, and now I do. So just thought I'd make that as a tip for you guys, just to know that when you're making a detailed engraving, you want to flip your artwork so that it's engraving. Because if I engraved it normally and then I looked at it this way, well, it would be backwards. It would look like that. So that's just one of the things I learned. So it looks much better. And yeah. And I guess another thing to show is kind of how this comes out. This just comes out like that. There's no like kind of special mechanism or snap fit anything. It just has a nice tight tolerance in this this little area here, this little lip slot area. So it just has a nice click into it, and it just stays there. It doesn't fall out. It works pretty well. What I do have is you probably saw this before. This is kind of a test that I was doing before I actually came up with the acrylic sign, the CircuitPython sign. This is the Circuit Playground Express board milled on a piece of acrylic. This is a little bit thinner acrylic, but this is kind of your regular run-of-the-mill acrylic. It's not the lucite type. So what happens when I try to edge light it? Well, you can see that there's a hot spot. It's not evenly being diffused. You can see the further I go away. It works, but it doesn't work as good as lucite. So it's just a quick example to show you how much better lucite works. It really does evenly diffuse it. Here's another example. This is what do you call it? This is some artwork from Zelda Breath of the Wild. This is the Sheikah logo, so you can see here. It doesn't need that much light to light it up.
And it can be quite a distance away from it, and it still is able to pick up all the light from it.
Yeah. And it evenly diffuses it, so it's kind of nice. Yeah, so now I have this is one of the first tests I was doing, and maybe one of the tips is that when you're making a sign, I definitely recommend kind of making an interesting cutout, because if it's just this flat square, it looks kind of boring. There's not much interest to it. So that's when I first made the sign, I was like, yeah, I really need to add some sort of contour to it. So that's why I added this nice kind of contour edge here to kind of follows the artwork. So I don't know, just thought that. Another thing I added was, of course, these cool little faux traces. They're fake. They're fake traces. They don't really do anything. They're just more for aesthetics, but it looks pretty neat.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Yeah, it looks nice. Here's obviously the first version I did with the it's a little bit more cleaner. It doesn't have those traces. That still works out pretty well.
Yeah, definitely adds more detail adding the traces on there.
This is a lot more cleaner. If you're more into the clean version of it, you can just not add those traces. Those traces actually aren't a part of the vector artwork. I actually hand drew these in Fusion 360. So there you go. That's just a quick look at kind of comparing different acrylic materials, and just a little tip about, of course, when you want to do engraving, you engrave it on one side, make sure your artwork is inverted, and the other side looks way better. It just punches out more, much more punch.
Sort of the idea when you're printing out, like when you're making your own T-shirts, you have to make sure that they are flipped over.
Yeah, you have to invert. Yes, it's one of those things.
Really good idea comment from Stuff Kirby saying that we should have, or that you could line them up to make a clock similar to a Nixie clock. So that's actually on the list, still having different layers of acrylic.
Layered acrylic is awesome. Check out Erin St. Blaine's project. She did a wayfinder for her Viking cosplay. Man, that thing is awesome. It has like 4 different layers, and they're like each one like these little Viking characters.
Yeah, so they're all stacked up on each other. There's an LED for each layer, so it'll light up depending on
the cool thing about hers is the LEDs are actually diagonally going around the thing. So that's a really awesome way to get these almost like an animation where it's it's kind of fading between different layers of the acrylics. So.
Yeah, we've been studying the way that those are built, especially like we were at Disney.
Yeah, they got these cool Mickey ears where there's 3 layers, I think, or maybe it's just 2 layers.
I think it's 3, and they're doing a little animation with the fireworks on the Mickey ears. Yeah,
so it looks like these fireworks are exploding. So a lot of cool things, a lot of cool different things you could do there with this acrylic. But hey, I figured I'd do something really simple and easy. Not overcomplicated or anything, and that's a really simple build. So there you go.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's in my little demo.
Discord chat, Northern Pike is saying that his Upstar logo would look a lot better with acrylic instead of 3D printing it. Sometimes 3D printing can't solve all the problems, especially when you're trying to do really cool light up things like this.
Yeah, it's completely see-through. Yeah. Turn it off, and it still works, like, off. Cool. All right. How are we doing on time? We got about 20 minutes. I wanted to run through. I'm going to run through it really quick. The rest of the guide really is like assembling the electronics, which is it's pretty easy. It's a good kind of beginner project, as we like to do beginner projects, because there's always beginners out there.
Reproducible, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, another thing. I forgot to mention another thing here is I'm starting to use this. This is the first time I use this thing here. These are technical drawings. So Fusion 360 has a really cool tool for making technical drawings. So I just wanted a way to quickly showcase how to, what the dimensions are for the case, in case people wanted to know if this would fit on their printer, if they wanted to DIY their own acrylic version. They kind of need to know the dimensions of the slot, for example, or the thickness of the case. So I kind of played around with this 2D drawing portion of Fusion 360, and I have never used it before. I never had a need for it until now. Excuse me. So I think moving forward, I'm going to start doing this a little bit more, because it just kind of gives you a better idea of the dimensions and stuff like that. This is the type of thing you would see more for some of our PCB drawings and things. So I thought it was kind of neat. They have a bunch of special tools. I've never been in here before. I'm sure there's a bunch of tutorials on how to use it, but I figured it wasn't too hard to kind of get in there, and you can export as a PDF, which is a vector file. And you can scale it up as big as you want or not, and you can add dimensions and all sorts of different things. I always see the Fusion 360 team expanding and adding features to this. So that is awesome. They're always updating, and I always kind of skip that part of the update, because it's like, I don't need this. But hey, I actually used it this week, and I thought it'd be worth sharing with you guys. So if you're doing some really, if you want to share your projects and you really want to get your dimensions out there for people to see, this is probably the best way to do it. it's a standalone kind of document, but it is a kind of its own workspace. So if you go into your model and you go under the model workspace, there's something called drawing, and you click on this from design, and that creates a new document where you can it's kind of linked to each other, but it is its own document once you save it out. As you can see here in my sidebar, it is its own document. Okay, that was a quick look at that, and let's jump back over to the guide and we'll quickly run through. Do you have any questions?
I hope all your stuff is cached. It appears that Learn is down.
Oh, well, we might have to end the show a little bit. Yeah, it's down. Ooh.
We will send out a message.
We're going to send a SOS distress signal. I got to punch in the codes. Beep, 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 beep. Warning. That's great.
Who do I, Justin or Tyler? No, it's Marty, right? Who's in charge of Learn?
SOS@Adafruit.com. Let's jump back over to...
They're probably implementing some stuff.
Yeah, maybe this is... So if you want to help us get our learning site back, you can help support us by buying something from the Adafruit shop. Use LUCITE, coupon code LUCITE.
Let's go ahead and jump into this week's What Are We Prototyping section.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions about the project, let me know. I'm going to show it off tonight on the show and tell. And
you'll be hanging around the Discord chat.
Yeah, I'll be hanging on the Discord chat, so you can check us out there. All right, let's jump into
incentive to get you guys over there. So we're beginning nice long list of Nintendo Switch projects. If you guys, again, in the Discord chat room, and if you've checked out some of the recent live shows you've seen, Phil's been having a lot of fun testing out the streaming through Nintendo Switch, doing some live gameplay with our Scott. The chat. They have some really cool streams on there. We're looking at some really cool accessories coming out. Looks like it's about to blow up again. They have a nice little strategy on separating the big launch titles. Yes. So it can continue to have a nice spike over into the holidays. With the
I like that they spaced it out because it gives me time to focus on one game.
Exactly.
So I focused a lot on Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. So
got through that one, and I'm ready for the next one.
Lots of nice little cool accessories coming out, like docks and USB.
Controllers, gamepads, thumb extensions, keyboards, you name it, people are making it. Cases. So Pedro, what are you working on?
Yeah, so there was a announcement of a Kickstarter that hasn't even been posted yet for a projector dock, which I found kind of funny how they're announcing things before they even put it up on Kickstarter.
Yeah, kind of get that hype going on. I know companies like to do.
Yeah, so we were able to actually build one already.
That was fast.
The Switch dock for this is pretty user-friendly.
It's this right over here.
Yeah.
Hey, look, this is a Switch dock. Guess what? We gutted the electronics from it.
Yeah. So you're able to.
So what's in there?
Easily take this apart. They do have some tri-wing screws, which we do have in one of our driver screw sets. Product ID.
This is where the board lives, huh?
Yeah. Super easy to take apart.
It's a bit of a hub, so it has an AC adapter, your USB, and your HDMI out. So this is where you would plug it into your TV, but instead of a TV, why not put in a pocket projector? That's the whole kind of premise of this project.
Yeah, especially with a lot of people opting to just have a tablet or just using their computer as their main source of streaming content. To them, it makes sense to just have a nice little projector that you can just stream all that to. So not going to go too much into it, but you can see it in action if you check out my Instagram account.
And this is
quickly get this to go on. Yeah, so it's like you were saying, there's a lot of space in here that they have and we were able to utilize. I was able to get it down to this tiny little portion of a dock, having the PCB mounted right on the side and make it even smaller. And the main star of this build is we're using all of our new DIY HDMI components, like the super flexible thin ribbon cable for the HDMI connectors, as well as the do-it-yourself little connector pieces, which I like to think of as like little Legos for a bunch of the HDMI projects that we always do.
A lot of different cable lengths, and all the cable lengths are compatible with these little connectors. So they all work really well with each other. You can mix and match them, of course, and we have a bunch of them. These are all HDMI, so HDMI right-angled, straight-angled, upside down, upside up.
Left angle, right angle. Yeah. If you go over to the
yes.
overhead, you can take a look how these work. They have a nice little latching mechanism here that holds onto the cable, and we have different sizes of these. We have 10, 20, 30, and 50 millimeter long cables. They have this nice little fabric on them, so they are able to be bent and flexed into different crevices of whatever your enclosure might require. So they just plug in with the little pins downward, attach like that, and snap on. And like we were saying, we have a bunch of different connector parts for this. You can have like the mini HDMI, the regular size HDMI, and then for all those we have like the left angle, the right angle one. So depending on which side you need to route your cables, you can get different orientations of this. This is a pretty big deal since a lot of the projects that we usually have to do, specifically like the Raspberry Pi or the monitor projects, we always have to account for the spacing that the HDMI cables usually take up, which
is
can
about
be
that
pretty
much.
big. Yeah, if I
that
can
much.
quickly grab one, you can. I think we've talked about this many times, but it's worth reiterating just how massive HDMI cables usually are. You can take a look at, say, if you needed to plug this and had to bend it. Look at all this wasted space that you would usually have to do. Compare that to something like this, where it immediately goes over to whatever area or whatever angle you need to bend it at. So super lifesaver for a lot of the projects that we usually do. And that's actually what I'm using for this here. So you can easily just route this around, not have like this gigantic cable, since the whole theme of this is trying to make it as small and thin as possible. You can actually even make it even smaller than that. What I'm doing, when we're doing like the prototyping, before we actually print out the whole entire piece like this, we actually have to make sure that all of our ports line up, all of our mounting holes line up. And here's a little piece that I used for making sure that the little slot that actually guides the Nintendo Switch into the port lined up perfectly. So what I discovered is that you actually don't need such a big dock for this if you just want it to stand up. It actually works with this teeny tiny little adapter piece that I used to make sure that all the ports lined up. So they did a really good job of balancing the weight for something like this.
Nice and centered.
It's centered. You can see all the ports all lined up from there.
Cool.
So we'll talk about this.
It's a great way to kind of repurpose all the guts here and make your own kind of DIY your own case.
And if you guys have checked out in the Discord, I think Phil posted it under the Show and Tell channel in Discord. He picked up one of the third-party docks that you can actually use instead of having something that's just so big like this.
I'm not sure if it's that. Oh, there it is.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, you can take a look at the controllers he's been testing out. We're taking a look at stocking some of these items because we think Nintendo has really hit it out of the ballpark with this one in terms of.
It was plushy with the amiibo.
Ethics Amiibo, yeah.
So that's the dock. Very, very much a slimmer dock as well in that sense. So cool. Probably using the same circuits. I'm not sure.
So for that dock, you do have to repurpose the PCB and everything from the dock that comes with it. And I've noticed that I've actually seen them in stock in the wild for the $2.99 that it's supposed to cost. So it looks like they're ramping up production for the holidays. Should be able to pick some up. Let me see if I could quickly turn it on just to show what this looks like. As soon as we got this to work, I was like, whoa, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see. And the projector that we're using here is the PICO projector, which is about...
PICO?
PICO. Which is like
PICO.
$100?
Yeah, it's a $100 thing on Amazon. 100 some, maybe like 110 or so. Yeah, I got this, a year ago? Something like that?
Yeah.
For Christmas for Pedro?
Yeah, the cool thing about this is that they have HDMI, audio out, composite. You can recharge this through micro USB.
It has USB mass storage as well, so you can view photos from a USB drive.
Yeah.
Or,
4-hour battery life on the inside. You have a built-in speaker. I forget what the luminance is on it. But
it's not super bright, but it's good enough.
It definitely works. SD card reader.
It's supposed to be a portable projector, so it's pretty nice.
Let's see if I can get this to turn on. It's always a little...
Yeah. Now, I got this one because I saw somebody from the Hammerhead Hackerspace actually use this projector to make a Rick and Morty, portal gun, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to mute again. I got a cough.
There we go. I don't know if you can actually see it with all the lights turned on, but you can kind of see it on my shirt there.
What happened? You want me to go to the...
Oh, it's my hand covering it. There we go. So pretty cool. And you can see like gameplay, and I'm playing Zelda Breath of the Wild on the Instagram account, but this will be next week's project. It's pretty cool. Obviously, you can use this with more than just a Nintendo Switch. Thinking about doing one with like for your phone or something like that. So to do like projections. I know a lot of people like, especially in the city, projecting you know, like stuff on the side of a building. So it's a really cool little portable projector.
Cool. Project. If you want the link for that, I can send it to you. I just got to pull it up. I'll probably put it in the description on the YouTube video. Yeah, PICO Projector for maker projects.
Yeah.
Good term.
Jumping over to this week's, what was it?
Who's doing Shop Talk now?
Shop Talk, yeah. Or no, Community Makes.
Okay.
Just wanted to point out a really cool thing that I saw on Tinkercad has added the ability to convert your models into Lego compatible little models.
How could I find that?
Probably just right on tinkercad.com. I saw it as a post on Facebook.
Right.
Pretty cool if you just want to visualize some of your models as a Lego model.
Where is it?
Of course, it's not there.
Yeah, what? I don't have, this is kind of unplanned. I don't have any links for you.
Okay, that's fine. We can link it later. We'll do a blog post about it as well.
I don't think it's been released yet.
Oh, it's just a sneak
I
peek.
mean,
whoops.
I mean, it was on Guillermo's personal YouTube page.
You're right.
You may have just got him fired.
No,
Sorry,
it's
Guillermo.
more like a little sneak peek at it.
There's nothing I can show you. I just don't have a link to it. But sorry about that. All right, what's next? How about your unicorn?
That's what I was going to go into, but I forgot I left it upstairs. So if you want to entertain.
we are super on game. We got a Air 500, like physically Air 500. Wow. I'm gonna end the show. I gotta
It's
go.
back
like,
up. It's back up.
Okay.
There you go.
There you go. Okay. Well, I'm gonna end the show anyway.
Thank you all for joining.
Yeah.
This week.
Well, hold on. We got 10 minutes. We'll do a Q&A real quick. Let's see if I can kind of gather ourselves up. Do you guys have any questions about what we're doing? Please let us know, so we can answer your questions now. If anybody has any questions about anything we covered, any links or anything like that, let us know. While that happens, I guess I could pull up the link for the PICO Projector. You could, of course, just search for PICO Projector in Amazon. I think you could pull it up. Yeah, here it is. It's like the third search result. I'm going to throw it in the YouTube chat because that's what I have access to right now. Have you tried out the Palette Plus yet? Unfortunately, it is sitting over
right
there.
Yeah.
Don't have time to kind of bust it out and get some time in there. But
Yeah,
yes, we
I
do
would
have it.
if-
We really wish we could get more time on it. But again, reviewing products isn't really our forte or our kind of focus and priorities. But yeah, the answer is no. We haven't tried it out yet, but we really do want to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Motivation to do these projects. It's mostly pop culture and useful things that we see.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
This is on the Discord chat. We have a Game You If fan is asking, what is the motivation to do these projects?
Fill in the more.
And we have a ginormous list of projects that are either useful in terms of pop culture or in terms of products that are coming out. We're going to integrate those with other, useful projects that hopefully inspire people to make these.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons to do a project. Whatever drives you, whatever interests you. So that can change, and it normally does change. For me, stepping back a little bit, what did I learn from this project? I learned a lot about the CAM operations in Fusion 360. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to really showcase that. But I am planning to do a tutorial on Fusion 360. You know how I do those. They take about 30 minutes or so to do. So I'm looking forward to showing that because I had a couple of eureka moments where I was like, oh, wow, okay, cool. This is how the engraving works well. Another question here. on the YouTube chat from John. He's asking, how good are laser etches on the acrylic? Probably very well. I imagine you can get a some finer details. I've never used a laser cutter, but I assume that...
Do you mean an actual like a laser pointer, or to create it with laser etching? Well,
the question is quote, how good are laser etches on the acrylic? I'm going to say they're as good as a milling. I don't think you can tell the difference between the two.
Of course, one isn't going to be able to go in deeper than the other one, right?
It depends on your power of your laser, I think. Yeah, I guess it can, with enough passes, it can cut through a 1/4 inch thick, which is what this is. It's 1/4 inch thick material. I think, yeah. I think with the laser, you're going to have less mess, maybe, because it's burning. It's turning it into like vapor.
Yeah, with this
one's kind of messy, as you might have saw in the video. There's a lot of swarf, which is just a bunch of waste. Okay, another question. Have we done any 3D printing on t-shirts with like flexible filaments? I haven't personally, but I've seen quite a few other folks do it. I think there was an article on Hackaday, and of course there are some really good ones from Simon, who did one. Joel, the 3D printing nerd, did one. I'm going to go ahead and say that even Mingus probably did one.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Yeah, people have been doing this since like 2012 when they figured out that you could print on other surfaces.
Yeah, the point isn't that I was the first to do it. The point is that you can do it.
It's been done,
Have I done it personally? No, I haven't done it. What I did do, however, is I printed out a kind of a graphic, like a logo, and I sewed it onto my hat.
Which I think it's like the best way to go, because you're able to, take it off or put it on.
It's easier. Well, maybe it's not easier. Maybe you don't like sewing.
Well,
maybe you don't have the dexterity to sew.
Well, what if you fail? It fails on the first one, then you have a completely ruined
shirt.
You
might ruin your shirt, or you just might, I don't know, clog the nozzle or something. Yeah, there's trade-offs for both things.
Will a PLA headband work?
If it's thin enough, I suppose it could work. You could probably submerge it in hot water, and then you can kind of bend it to curve or whatever. Yeah. I've seen people make like a PLA, casts, whatever, casts, yeah. So yeah. What's your favorite Raspberry Pi project from the YouTube chat? It's probably the Pi Girl projects. Those are always fun. Those are fun ones. But even the more useful ones, probably like the AirPlay ones, where you can turn your Pi into like a AirPlay streaming device, or even the Alexa ones, where it's like what do you call it? Voice assistance ones. What else? There's so many. The Pi camera projects are always awesome too. Yeah, all of those are kind of my favorite. It's hard to pick one. Cool. All right.
He is saying that he has engraved acrylic with the Dremel. Works pretty good.
Yeah, it works good. It's just kind of, for me, I got that shaky hand, and I actually tried it. Maybe I could pull it up real quick. Any other questions?
Let's see. Just switching between YouTube and Discord.
This is my name here.
That's a good idea. Yanni's saying a projector in the hat would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Naomi actually made projector boots. So she would project like these cool disco shapes. Here's my hand Dremel attempt.
Yes, the Pi hole is a really helpful project.
I definitely want to do the Pi hole project. Look at my terrible handwriting and my terrible Dremel skills. Can't really see it, but...
Triple A is asking CNC places to send a CNC file. Probably
Pinocchio, I think, is the one place. There's probably others nowadays, but yeah, Pinocchio. Maybe you're close to a makerspace. Maybe there's a local like kind of machinist that has access, that has a laser cutter. Yes, Northern Pike. This was I did use a bandsaw. Well, no, it's more of a table saw. It's kind of like a table saw, jigsaw, but it's like portable. I can link it to you if you want.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap.
It's like 150 bucks or so. Yeah, I love that thing. It's really nice. Yeah, really nice, compact. Has its own like sled. What's it called? Not a sled.
Oh, the holder thing?
No, just the thing, the guiding thing. I forget what it's called. Ugh, so embarrassing.
Robert Dwyer
Fence.
on
That's what it's called. Fence.
YouTube is saying that the laser engraver or laser actually polishes the edges as well.
Oh, cool. Yeah, this one I just had to kind of use a little what do they call it, a chip brush, and just kind of brush it away. Yeah.
MPP3
a bit more mess.
RC is saying that yes, please link the song. Maybe I can find it real quick and I can link it on there. Did we get it on Amazon already?
It is on Amazon, yes. Yanu is saying, go ahead and edge light the my name with the Dremel link. Yeah, let's see if that will work. It doesn't look that great.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I didn't go that deep. I don't even know how deep I was going. I did this in like, I don't know, a minute. I just wanted to showcase that, yeah, you can do it. I have like those special, I don't know if they're diamond bits, but they're, you know, a part of the engraving thing. And, you know, the Dremel I have isn't really meant for like fine engravings because it's a little bit big in your hand. So there's other ones that are specifically designed for like hand etching and stuff. But yeah, you can imagine printing out the vector artwork and then kind of just plopping your stock there and just kind of tracing it out like that. So I'm sure that could work. You
could also use something like a some sort of guide or escapes the name.
Stencil?
Stencil, yes.
Well, you might, yeah, maybe.
Was the M0 programmed with CircuitPython?
Absolutely, yes. That's the whole point of the project. Yep, is that you can have this sign on your desk and kind of manipulate and write your own, test your own NeoPixel code animations and kind of get an instant feedback to see what it looks like instead of just having the NeoPixels on the desk, not hooked up to anything. Kind of meta too, because it's got the CircuitPython logo on there. It's like you're writing it in CircuitPython.
Yep. It's a multi-layered sort of project.
All right, I gotta end the show. It's 12 o'clock, and I keep getting this phone call I gotta take. It's like, oh no. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining. We're gonna be on the show until tonight, so please be sure to check that out. And if you want to share your stuff too, get on there. And if you want to win something, you can do so tonight. You can call in and talk to Lamar and Phil and that sort of thing. So Ask Engineers on tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, it's all happening today. We'll have another coupon code as well. And the coupon code right now is LUCITE. So check that out if you want to pick something up in the shop.
Yep, and saves 10% off on everything except software and subscriptions. So make sure to take advantage of that.
Cool. Well, this was fun. I apologize for all the little mess-ups in the beginning, but hey, goodbye world. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be here next week. Until then, I don't know, go make something. Thanks, guys.